will to join or support or otherwise spread the word that there is now this American Committee for East-West Accord, and that there is at least some kind of organized activity to fight back against the neocon warmongers, but also against the humanitarian bombers. We know them, the Samantha Powers. They're every bit as vicious, every bit as warmongerish are the humanitarian bombers compared to the neocons. So that's the way that looks, right? The hysteria around Nemtsov. Well, let's see where it goes. Now, we also want to take a look at the U.S. domestic front. Extremely worrisome things are going on. The first thing is the Wisconsin state legislature is now in the process of voting for or enacting the so-called right-to-work law. That is a misnomer. It should not be repeated. It is called the union-busting law, or indeed the fascist anti-labor law, fascist anti-worker law. And you may ask, oh, what is this big, a hue and cry? Can't we say they're conservative? No, they're not. If you say that they're conservative, Governor Walker is a conservative, you're lying. So don't lie. Don't lull people into a false sense of security. Conservative is altogether too reassuring for a militant fascist. Walker is a fascist. If you don't call him a fascist, you're lying. You're not doing anybody a service. You are completely hiding the fact of what is going on. So it looks like they've voted for it, at least one house, and it's going to go to Walker. So within a few days, Wisconsin is going to fall into the ranks of the right-to-work states, and this is a trend in these places that have fallen under reactionary Republican rule. Now, just remember a couple of things. Without the fecklessness and the treachery and the corruption of the Democratic Party, this would never have occurred. We were reminded of that this week when the former Democratic governor of Michigan, Jennifer Granholm, appeared to defend Hillary Clinton. She was a slavish, completely propitiating defender. Anything Hillary does, Granholm will defend. That means anything Wall Street does, Granholm will defend. This is absolutely unacceptable. So you can see what kinds of inadequacy and worse of the Democratic Party made possible the victory in Wisconsin. And also remember, Michigan is also now a right-to-work state. How horrendous. The homeland of the United Auto Workers, of the various sit-down strikes of 1936, and that's now a right-to-work state. And Indiana is also in this column, and there are others, right? Certainly in Ohio, Governor Kasich tried very hard to go all the way there, but I think he was stopped by a referendum. So we have a reactionary offensive. We can see that Walker is the recipient of the Koch backing, and that, of course, includes huge sums of money that we can assume are being paid in. And now we have to put that together with the fact that the United States Supreme Court has accepted this case on Obamacare. We are now headed towards a constitutional crisis of the first magnitude over the Supreme Court and this Obamacare case. The idea being that this obscure phrase established by the state, I guess it's the state with a small s, because you could imagine if it were the state with a large S, and even without the large S, there's nothing to be debated here. Based on this nominalistic, pedantic, textualist effort, they're going to try to bring down Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act. Now, look, the original intent, they cannot argue in original intent, because original intent was that everybody would get to sign up. Either you'd get to sign up through your state, or if your state government was reactionary, you could go directly to a federal website that would be set up for your state. But that's not good enough for these nominalists. Now we get the textualists. And of course, Scalia, the biggest sociopath on the court, Antonin Scalia. I've been sending out some gems from Scalia's recent career on Webster G. Tarpley Twitter, which you should be following at least once a day, preferably more than once. Scalia is an originalist when it suits him, but in this case, he doesn't want to do that because it would be clear he would lose. Then he becomes a textualist. He becomes an even bigger obscurantist. The suit was brought by the Competitive Enterprise Institute. This is in the orbit of Mellon and Richard Mellon Scaife, the late, but that's where the money came from, and now Koch. So this is another Koch offensive. Koch is attacking in Wisconsin, bust all the unions with the help of the fascist governor, go through the Supreme Court, get the rats cabal mobilized, Roberts, Alito, Thomas, Scalia, and quite possibly the reactionary weather vane Kennedy. They're all on the attack. Remember, Scalia was put in there under Nixon. He's a product of the corrupt, criminal Nixon White House, then appointed by Reagan, the union buster. He is the biggest sociopath. And his Scalia's response today was, yesterday or whenever these things were held on Thursday, he said, well, if you strike down the law, that might create chaos, of course, but Congress can easily fix it. Now, that is either the greatest cynic since Diogenes in the battle, or it's an advanced case of Alzheimer's, right? He just doesn't know what he's saying. So what has to happen? Impeachment. People have got to remember that the remedy for having these reactionary judges and worse is impeachment. Judges can be impeached. It used to be in the 50s and 60s that we had the impeach Earl Warren movement. That was a very common bumper sticker on the American road back in the 1960s. Well, of course, it was done by reactionaries. In those days, it was done by racists and the John Birch Society, who didn't like the desegregation decision. But we are now reviving the notion of impeaching a Supreme Court justice. Impeach one to encourage the rest to cease and desist. Back in a minute on World Peace Radio.
Attention listeners, SurvivalLife.com is giving away free EverStrike permanent matches for a limited time only. These matches are waterproof and will light in any weather condition, rain, snow, or sleet. It will still throw a spark. Its built-in ferro rod strikes at 3,000 degrees, and it is good for 15,000 strikes. Normally, $15. Today, it's free. Get yours at freesurvivallighter.com. Again, that's freesurvivallighter.com. Hurry, supplies are limited. Visit freesurvivallighter.com today.
Are you hungry for delicious, nutritious, rich, and satisfying home-cooked meals? Discover the Vita Clay 4-in-1 Smart Organic Cooker. Unglazed Zisha Clay, an ancient secret that makes this fast multi-cooker so special. Infusing your food with incredible flavors, perfect texture, vitamins, and minerals for your good health. It's a slow cooker, rice cooker, a steamer, plus a yogurt maker. Go to VitaClayChef.com and enter promo code RADIO20 for 20% off at checkout. That's VitaClayChef.com.
We live in a complicated society. Stressful issues are always popping up. Have you ever been treated unfairly by someone? Have you ever been overcharged for a repair? Have you ever signed a contract or a document? Worried about identity theft? How many times have you been in those unique situations where you just wanted to call an attorney to find out if you're right or wrong, or what your legal rights are? But every time you think about calling an attorney, what do you think about first? That's right. Who do you call, and how much will it cost? Our friends at Legal Shield have found a solution. With a nationwide network of 6,900 attorneys who average 19 years of experience, Legal Shield's law firms take over 40,000 calls per week helping their members. For less than $20 per month, you can have access to Legal Shield on everything from the trivial to the traumatic. Let Legal Shield stand up for your rights at lsprotection.com. That's lsprotection.com. Or call 855-340-SAVE, 855-340-7283.
Results will vary from case to case.
Most people know that drinking pure high alkaline pH water is the most important factor in maintaining high energy and vibrant health. Most experts agree that the water you drink should be at a pH level of 8 or higher. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops combine a unique formula of the most alkaline minerals. Using plasma pH drops is the best way to make your water alkaline to help you get rid of acid and regain your health and energy. Simply put 10 drops in the water you drink to raise the pH to a healthy level. Alkalizing water helps your body rid itself of acidic waste and increases the oxygen content of your body. Disease organisms like bacteria, viruses, and cancer cannot survive in an alkaline high pH environment. Order your bottle of AlkaVision Plasma pH drops now by going directly to alkavision.com. That's ALKA vision.com. Or call 269-409-1776. 269-409-1776 today.
You pick up the receiver with your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead. You finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason! Jason!
Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the host you're listening to right now, online at gcnlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at gcnlive.com. A little right, a little left, but always independent-minded. The Genesis Communications Network, GC.
Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. It's the 6th of March, 2015. Now, concerning the question of the impeachment of Antonin Scalia, high crimes and misdemeanors, right? These judges can be impeached. Federal judge can be impeached just the same way a president or a secretary of state or a deputy assistant secretary, they can all be impeached by the House, right? Majority vote, put on trial in the Senate. So what's the accusation? The accusation is, and the idea is, start the movement now. So if he does what he seems to be preparing to do, strike down Obamacare in this way, then you'll have your impeachment movement ready to go. But right now, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We're told by Linda Greenhouse of the New York Times that the left liberals, right, the progressives as she calls them, are defeatist in mood. Well, we're not defeatist in mood. We're in a fighting mood. And we say, impeach Scalia. Get ready. Now, others would say, well, why Scalia? Because he's the most hated. He's the most odious. He has compiled a track record of judicial barbarism that is quite frankly chilling. It's unbelievable that this has been allowed to go on. And again, you can thank the Democrats for not filibustering him when he came on the scene. This monstrosity that we've now got, right? A shame to the United States. So he's in there, and what they want to do is strike down the law. Now, if you strike down the law, you're going to throw the whole system into chaos. There are 7.5 million people who are getting these subsidies. And if you strike that down, most of them are going to lose them. In other words, they're getting these subsidies through the federal exchange, not through a state exchange. You're going to create chaos. You're going to create insolvency, bankruptcy, privation, people going without medical care. So the question is, how many will die? That's the relevant question. We already know that this court, the Roberts Court, is responsible for the 2012 decision. Roberts was not willing to go all